God, what I could do for a nice, calm fashion show. Nice, easy, calm fashion show. Get all these forgiven fashion. Come back.
Jasper did the costumes for my production of Sleeping Beauty. And I loved it so much, I thought, well, I should do Swan Lake for Jasper to do costumes and sets, which he hasn't done before. I started getting nervous about Swan Lake 3 months ago, so I called Jasper and said, I haven't seen any designs yet. And he said, can you get down to the fax machine? He knows it's downstairs.
Established in 1978, New York-trained Jasper Conran has consistently designed classic yet directional collections.
And the winner of the British collections is Jasper Conran.
Over 10 years of designing has won Jasper Conran awards not only on the fashion catwalk but also on the theatrical stage. This year, his designs for the theatre have earned him a Laurence Olivier Award for costume.
Quite a lot of people are sort of amazed by the fact that they look at my clothes and they can't associate me doing sort of big frilly dresses. I wouldn't make theatrical clothes for women for walking down the street in. I don't see the logic in it. I suddenly found that there was an area of my creativity that I hadn't been using and I'd been suppressing. And that there was a theatrical side to me after all. No, I'm not depressed. Yet. Take a bit out of the curve. It's just lost something along the way, and I want it to be more like this than like that. I mean, I'm trying to get information from Italy at the moment, like mad, and, you know, they're being very Italian about it. Silver and gold, blue and green. It's all going to be shimmering. Lovely, lovely. Here we are, Swan Lake. Okay, prologue, which is a new invention, which is about 3 minutes long. And we fade through from the gauze. Here we have the princess, you see, princess. She's coming along and she's picking the apples, the forbidden fruit. Rothbard, wicked magician, turns her into a swan. So Act 1, there it is.
And the little palace is three-dimensional, and that'll have real lights in it.
Little real lights in the back. 3 minutes change, swiftly. This I'll enjoy seeing. Swan Lake. Is that 3, Renton? Yes. Ballroom.
Is it Jasper Conran blue?
It's JC Blue.
Yeah, I saw that in your bathroom or somewhere.
Yeah.
Nicole,
You'd prefer a pattern in it?
After 8 weeks of a tour, it can tend to get a bit tatty.
Well, repaint it then.
That's time. That's time and money.
Another costume?
What do you mean another costume?
Well, we saved...
No.
The Scottish Ballet Company is, at the moment, 40 dancers. We have principal dancers, we have soloists called the ballet. And then I invited some guests because we're doing 63 performances of Swan Lake in the season, and It's very difficult for principal dancers to do more than 3 performances a week.
Yeah, injuries are a constant worry, you know. One minute you can be jumping around, the next minute you can be off for 12 weeks. It's, one girl that broke her foot the other week. I'm not sure. I think there's a couple of people with smaller things, but they're just taking it easy now in the rehearsals so that they're okay for performing.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good idea.
It should be a bit like the night sky.
Well, what happens is the makers get a sketch and they know that they should only go so far before they show me what they're doing. We have a fitting, which is like a base fitting, just to get the fit on the corset right. And then I start doing my thing.
We all have to try and pretend it looks easy, but in fact, you know, you're smiling through absolute pain, and your feet are just, you know, absolutely aching. The toes are all joined and squashed up, and it's absolute torture. It's really, really terrible. But at the end of the day, you've got to think of all the advantages of all the stamina we'll have gained and things from it. So just try and think of the good points to get me through it.
You expect ballet dancers to be sort of arty, kind of, you know, pink chiffon-y people. They're not. They are as rigidly trained and disciplined as any athlete you could care to mention.
Apparently she's just...
Sorry, boys.
That's why I'm doing it. She's changing it dark to a normal colour.
Now, this is how these wigs start out in life. So you go from probably that is ended up like that, you see. It's a marvellous transformation.
Are you going to have them all outlined before you have the infill? It's worked out that way. Yeah. Well, I
Friends, the wonderful, wonderful friends. They are friends of Scottish Ballet. They do all our embroidery and things, which is fantastic because we couldn't afford to do it otherwise.
I'm very fond of ballet, and because I'm not working at the moment, it's something that I enjoy doing.
It's 5 hours last week and then an hour or so, about 2 hours this week. I think it's going to be another, I'd say about another 5 hours before I get that finished.
To have this embroidery normally would cost thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. It's a huge, real help. Bye, ladies.
Tell me, did you design all the windows?
Yes, I did. Well,
did you never think that when you did wee curly bits, that bugle beads didn't fit?
Oh, well, they're little bugle beads.
They're not that little, so you're ending up with bits like swastikas instead of nice wee curly bits.
You live and learn now, don't you?
Yes.
Right, today is Friday. This is when most of the costumes will arrive, and got Swans fairly under control. Lots of things are going to come in late. Lots of things. They're all panicking like mad. I'm not.
And 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We rehearsed quite often till 6:30 in the evening, and by then I know that everyone is tired, but I want to get as much as possible done as soon as possible.
That's it, yeah. Yeah? And then Nona, still you can look more profile.
We have 3 casts, but as yet they've only really rehearsed 2 casts.
Everybody, yeah.
And even the second cast feel a bit under-rehearsed at the moment.
That's it, that's it.
Galena often makes last-minute changes. For example, last Friday, she's asked Lorna and I to learn new places in Swans for opening night. So the both of us are a bit worried about that because we think an opening night will just be copying everybody. We don't know. Hopefully we'll get a few more rehearsals.
It's a bit of a battle to get the ostrich feathers, but I think they work rather nicely because, but what we're going to have to do is trim them down, just trim them down. You'll give them a little hairdo, little haircut, so that, because, I mean, what I want is to get the feeling of the swans.
Once I started working with them, I realised I was terribly allergic to them. I've had to take antihistamine for virtually the entire length of the time I've been working with them. But we employed some extra people to sew the feathers onto the net because it was easier than having me suffering too much.
I can decorate up the front of the tutu, but I can't do anything on the sides. I can't do any decoration on the sides because they've got to be lifted on the sides. So the dancers, and they can really rip their hands open, the partners, if they catch anything. So you have to be very careful.
You obviously worry if you have a lot of dancing to do that your costume is going to fit well and you're going to be able to move properly in it. So that's another thing. Now, if you're wearing wigs and if you're wearing whatever you're wearing, you need to be comfortable with it.
Excellent. Do you know, I was talking to a taxi driver the other day and he said, oh, what are you doing in Glasgow? And I said, I'm designing a ballet. He said, you know, it's really interesting. Why is it that the ballet doesn't appeal to me? He said, what are they doing wrong? They're doing something wrong if I'm not motivated to go and see it. I haven't got the answer to it. I wondered whether it was his sort of, macho, footballer thing that it couldn't be seen at a ballet. But he was quite philosophical and interesting about it. I think what frightens people or puts people off, on the whole, is that they don't know about ballet. In everyday life, look at any situation, and you will see a form of dance.
Resetting at the moment for this evening, and we'll have 3 hours to run the full thing for the first time. So the main emphasis is on the flying, the lighting and the costumes really at this stage.
Nikki wanted more gold in Act 3. I said no. No taste, darling, no taste.
So Mike and I are coming in tonight at 9 o'clock, and Jasper wants some extra gold leafing, the Dutch metal input on.
Yes, yeah.
So we're going to have quite a late night, I think.
Still a bit orange, my love.
I was just saying, that's white. That's actually white. When it's written down, it's going yellow, so we're going to put correction filter in to make it blue.
Right.
Good. The whole look of the thing is very, very storybookish. So we're trying to keep the lighting like that, so it's where it's, when the baddie comes on, it sort of goes green, just like in a kid's storybook.
That's the bright. That should be really bright.
The ambassadors should wear their costumes tonight, if possible, because.
The what?
The ambassadors need to wear their costumes because they've got lots of back.
Darling, do you have money for overtime? Unless they want to do it, I can't ask them. You ask them, yeah, that's fine. As long as you ask them, it's all right. No, off. The left arm in front of him, so that you're actually in front of him. At the moment, you're behind. Don't take your hand.
He's only got a 50-second change, so what we do is spray the harnesses black, And they'll just go over him, and he's all in black anyway.
Designer harness, wow. Okay.
So it won't look lumpy?
No, it won't. It won't. May look lumpy in certain parts, but then why else do you come to the ballet?
And the amount of people that will come up to you and say, but what's your other job? You know, and it's like, they sort of think you work maybe in Marks and Spencer's 9 till 5 and turn up here, put some makeup on and do it. But, you know, some people do have this stupid idea that that's how you live. You'll sit in the dressing room and go, oh, I can't do this tonight, I haven't got the energy, I don't feel like it. But if you were injured and you couldn't do it, you'd be sitting there going, I want to do it.
Such a dreamer, girl.
It's that sort of thing.
The guy who choreographed it obviously had absolute hatred towards women.
It's just the length of it and the amount of time that you stand on one leg, and then the next thing you've got to do is jump off that same leg you've been standing on, and it's gone to sleep.
We have to just stand in a position and not move, and your calf muscles start to go, your feet start to cramp up, and then you move another bit, and it's like, oh my God, get me off the stage.
You try and stand for like 5 minutes without moving. It's very difficult, especially like a light here that's making your heart, sweat starts to get in your eyes, you want to blink, you want to itch. So you want to sneeze, there's nothing you can do, you just got to stand there.
Ooh, I don't know. I might ask you that question. What is it that I love about ballet? I don't know. After you've had a little break from dancing, it's a very daunting thought to go back to that. You know, you think, oh, it's gonna hurt and it's gonna be so hard. And, yeah, forget it. But for some reason, it becomes so satisfying after a while.
Excuse me interrupting, what does that feel like? I'll come back down before you go on and check that you're all right. I've sewn it, but when you toss your head, it still might come undone.
Ballet wigs have to be lighter, they have to be smaller. Opera wigs are usually quite large, and they can be quite heavy because the singer's going to sing, but they're not actually moving in the same way. They've also got to be very secure when they're pinned. If you're putting buns and ringlets or plaits or anything, or bows or anything on, they've got to be really, really secure because obviously the person's got to dance in them.
Jasper wants the plaits back at the side.
You get sweaty?
Yes, very. Very. They get very hot inside. And they go a little bit white sometimes because the salt from the... so that's why they have to be looked after and maintained properly and washed periodically because otherwise they rot.
Play about with it.
Yeah, fine.
To how it suits you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your prologue beginners call. Prologue beginners to the stage, please. Thank you.
Oh, God. I'm late.
Expected. Hope everything that has to go wrong goes wrong today, not next week.
I can't talk.
Big V, you know your bourrée forward? It was lovely, and it started really nice, and then it started to break down. It was really dead right, and as you broke down, it just started to wiggle around.
Act one, do you feel uncomfortable in anything?
Just great tights, but...
No.
We had them over there so that we had the...
But then I'm left-handed.
I thought that it should have been onto this side.
And it looks lovely. It's just it needs one person an inch out and the other person behind.
Everyone was saying, no, that surely it should be opposite from...
Or one person an inch and the other person half an inch, and it's an inch and a half and it looks like miles.
On the left.
On the left, this side? That side? That's what we did?
I believe that's my left.
Okay, yes.
Did you give him note about the cape?
I mean, from one wing it's easier just to come from here, you can see it.
The ambassador's beard, yeah?
Guys, move your right forward like this. And there's too much. Yeah, it looks like you're like...
Do you want me without it?
No, you should have a beard. All the ambassadors should have a beard.
Ladies, can we just do the curtain calls quickly just now? Sorry, and we'll try and get some more the others.
What I've decided is just to keep my cool because everything's late.
You're doing quite well. I mean...
I'm not... You think I'm doing quite well?
I am doing extremely well because by now I should be completely hysterical.
Paranoid, hysteric. I know that everybody's working very hard and doing it, and we'll have it all on opening night. That I know.
Or we're better.
I'm not seeing it
If I've made a cock-up with this, I'm in serious trouble. Buenos Aires, here I come. Because, you know, these cost a good $1,000 to go, these costumes. And I always knew there was something not quite right, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Couldn't put my finger on it until I saw in the first dress rehearsal that we had, I saw that what I'd done was there was just too much white on stage. Hazel's never done this either. We're the greatest bullshitters in town.
I couldn't believe it.
But I keep on having to remind myself that it's not what you're seeing up close. You're not seeing this up close. You're seeing this from a distance.
We delivered the last costume about 6:30. It felt quite warm when we finished with blowing drying with the hairdryer and ironing it, but I think there's a huge element of dampness still there, and I feel sorry if the dancer is going to have to put it on because it won't be comfortable at all.
Gentlemen, this is your 15-minute call. 15 minutes, please.
Excuse me. And we change. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
One. I've got two.
Here you have some more of these. And then I would like... Firebird.
I'm sure I'm not off to the side. Yeah.
Is everyone decent?
Yeah. Look, Sue, I told you about them, didn't I? Are you?
I want to defect back to Russia just before every opening night. I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else.
Anyway, but it was a navy blue hand just earlier.
Yeah, we've gone the boat.
Oh, well, they were absolute agony in Act 2, but we've only got one act to go, and then it's all over.
Almost there, one more act to go. Then we all get drunk.
It was wonderful, absolutely fantastic.
Dancing's first class, colourful, it's really, really entertaining.
I thought the swings were beautiful.
It was wonderful, wonderful, very emotional.
Well, it's okay, it's a bit boring, but it's a lot better if you're at the front.
It's our first time at a ballet, so I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience, the music and the dance.
I liked the bit with the swans. They were like birds.
Well, it is a bit arty-farty, but it's actually great. When I told the boys at work I was coming, I was literally destroyed with laughter, but no, I'll definitely come back. Really, I'm really, really enjoying it. Really chuffed.
There's always a sort of sense of sadness when you finish something, when you've been working so intently with so many people and, you know, you're leaving them behind because you get very fond of them and very fond of... I love being here. I enjoy it very much.
Would you do it again?
Oh, yes, if I get asked, I'll be back in a minute. Yeah.